everybody. This is Theresa Barron. I am here with you at the Real Tea Talk, where we are here to spill the TEA. And you know what I mean by that. The Real Tea Talk is transitioning its third season to an agent-centric podcast. So expect to get educated, inspired, and activated so that you have a knowledge base where you can actually serve people at the highest level. So my name's Theresa Barron. My broker number is 201000. Let's try that again. 2010002720. And I promise you, I am licensed as a broker both in the state of Ohio and in the great state of Florida. And I'm here to really serve the agent population, help them get the information that they need, because I promise you, I've been doing this for 30 years and have been in real estate for probably 35. That's 89 to 2023, so 34, 35 years. And today I'm bringing on talent. And this talent is a young lady who is with a mortgage broker. She's going to give you some tea. She's going to spill some tea about what she's learned, her experience in the real estate market since her inception. She jumped in 2019. Her name is Mackenzie, and she's actually with one of the largest mortgage brokers in Central Ohio. And I'm sure that they've got offices outside or doing loans outside of Central Ohio. So she's somebody you might want to reach out to, because the way they do business is unlike any other. They are top tier with their marketing. They're top tier with how they handle their clients, and they consider their agents their clients as well as the consumer client. So meet Miss Mackenzie Floyd. Welcome, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
I hope that was doing you right, girl.
That was perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about you and you know, tell the audience, give them some things in terms of how you got started and kind of, you know, what happened.
Yep,
tell
absolutely. I feel like I've been doing it for a while, but it's really only been about 3.5 years, 4 years almost. How I got into the business was kind of crazy. I graduated school right when COVID was happening, so I was really unsure of, what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. It was definitely a difficult time, and finding jobs was hard as well.
Right.
I went to school for marketing and sales, so I knew I wanted to do something, with people, but I wasn't sure what that meant. Mm-hmm. I had a friend that was in the business and basically gave me a call and was like, "You should try this." And I was like, "This is scary. I don't know anything about this." He was like, "Just give it a try. You work really well with people. You love working with people. Just try it out."
Right.
And I was at that point like, all right, let's do it. I did it for a couple of months and I learned to love it. I looked at it as something that was all numbers and, a lot of crazy things that I didn't think I would necessarily love.
Right.
But what I do now is help people, buy their biggest asset, and I love it.
The biggest asset,
the biggest,
right?
Yes.
Right. So people don't understand that when they are buying a house, it can really change their entire life.
Yep.
And as a loan officer, tell me how does it make you feel? When you're going through, you have to deal with their most personal and intimate financial piece, right? Yep. So how do you feel about that? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think as a loan officer, what I try to do is really educate the person on what's happening. Again, you don't learn anything really about buying a house when you're growing up, or a lot of people think renting is just what you do, or is the easiest thing to do.
Yes.
So what I try to do is really educate people. And also, this is like you said, a very personal thing to do, right?
It is.
So I try to make all of my, times that I talk with my clients or even the agents that I work with, I try to make it as, personal and less transactional as I can.
What do you want the real estate agents to understand about how they should be, kind of connecting with you and the consumer?
Yep.
What do you want them to know about, how do we do this thing?
Yeah. What I want them to know, and the biggest thing for me, is that we're all on a team. Right.
Yeah.
We're going to do this together.
Yep.
Right. The agent helps them find the house, right? I help them find the specific financial product, but all of those things, especially in a market like we're in today, all work together. So
Yes.
what I want my agents that I work with to know is that I'm on their team. We're on
Yes.
team together.
Team
To, get the client their perfect home.
Yeah, it's because I think sometimes agents might feel like, if you're working with other agents, what are you doing? What have you done for me lately? That kind of thing.
Yep.
It is that kind of thing. And I know where you are offers a lot of, camaraderie, a lot of support,
Yep.
a lot of, there's a lot of offerings that go along with it. And so it is, tremendous marketing. But outside of that, on just looking at Mackenzie and what Mackenzie does, what does Mackenzie do? Because I see you connect, girl.
Yep.
I see that.
Yep.
We here, right? We here.
Yep.
So
Yep. I think for me, I try to build personal relationships with everyone that I work with, especially my agents. Again, this is a business, and
Right.
if we're going to be business partners, we got to work well together.
Right.
Right. And I work well together with people that I get along with, that we have more in common with. So I really try to, just at least talk to the people that I work with at least once or twice a week, just to catch up. How are things going? How are you doing? But besides the business.
Yeah.
Right. I want to have more conversations with people that aren't just necessarily real estate focused. That way we can build personal connection. It's
Yes.
easier to work on a team with someone that you know really well.
That you really know.
That has your back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So having your back, I like that. Because a lot of times you'll find that some people are too, they're operating on both sides of their face. So
Right.
on one hand, they're saying this. On the other hand, have you experienced that where you're out here in the field and people are they're not being, real. They're just looking for a whatever.
Yeah, it definitely happens.
Yeah.
It happens. But I think where, we do the most business is when you work well together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's going to be the best thing for the client. So yes, it definitely happens.
Yeah. And a lot of times younger agents or people who are just getting started, whether they're loan officers or agents, they got to figure out how to work through those things.
Right.
Because it takes team. It
Right.
takes us, working together.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So do you educate the agents on things like the credit scores? Do you, when you're working with, would you prefer to work directly with the consumer? Would you prefer for the agent to kind of work with the consumer to work on credit profiles and help to get people ready?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So a couple of different things with that. How I do my process is the first thing that I do is obviously take an application, right? Once I get the credit and things like that, if there are things that need to be worked on, that is something that I'm going over with the agent. I do a pre-approval consultation with the client, and then I do a little mini one with the agent as well, just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of times people get pre-approved and they get the letter and then that's it. And you don't really know what that means. Do you know what I mean? So I really try to, educate the client and the agent. Now, if the agent wants to work with them on credit as well, as long as all three of us are on the same page and we're giving the same information, then I think that's also great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how do you think right now the current environment is going to impact us? I mean, what are you seeing on your side? It's always good to see different perspectives and to kind of get a feel for how's things going in the loan industry for you.
Yeah. I think that, it's not, it's kind of the elephant in the room. Everyone knows it, but no, it's hard to see. But I mean, rates are high. It is what it is. One thing that we try to do is have a plan. You know what I mean? We know that going into the winter market, it's going to be hard. It always gets harder around that time. But we have a really good plan. And one thing that we try to do is keep our clients really excited to buy, because there's never a bad time to buy, right? So one thing that we do see now is we see a lot of people who are, very rate conscious. They're really worried about what rates look like. But we try to do a really good job of educating them on why now is still a good time to buy. So business is going still very well for us, which is great because we have that mentality.
Yeah. One of the things I'm telling agents and I'm telling clients, consumer clients and loan officers is that, here's the bottom line is that when the rates go down, like right now, if these rates go down to 4.5%, 5.5%, we got a problem.
Yep.
Because pricing is going out the roof. There's going to be a run.
Yep.
It's like a run on the bank.
Yep.
And literally a run on the bank. And we already don't have inventory.
Right.
So I think it just has to work itself out and catch up.
Right.
And I think that real estate people need to understand that there's more things to do in real estate. Like there's always a market.
Yep.
Now you're new. So when I say that, that may not resonate with you the same way but there is always a market because we think about people in their life situations. You know, if you just simply think about life situations, it's death, divorce, birth, relocation, you know, layoff. There's just all kinds of reasons why people have to sell.
Right.
It's not just you sell, you know, people are selling because it's a part of their life, because it's some things happening. So with that in mind, did that give you some ideas?
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, because you know what? This collaboration, one of the things that I'm here to do, which is to coach.
Yep.
And you would be, if you were the realtor, I'd really be driving some information to you. But even as the loan officer, you're such an integral part of the process. Like just finding the right product and knowing what a DSCR loan is. And, you know, I know we recently dealt with that. And just being forthcoming about the cost. Because that client that we had that was kind of mutual where we were going to do that. I mean, I just really had to appreciate the fact that you were like, well, you know, we may not have the best rates on this one, you know, and allowing that client to get what he needed will allow him to come back to you at some point, you know, because he's buying every 6 months to every year. So I think, so what would you tell loan officers that need to understand that piece? What would you tell them?
Again, I think that, you know, one of the most scary things for new homeowners is, or just buyers in general, is just the unknown. And one way to make that go away is by being transparent and just breaking it all down.
Girl, yeah.
And
the agents and the loan officers that are watching you that want to understand that piece, how would you tell them the same thing? Like, look, be transparent and, you know, stop playing. We know we're high. You know, whatever it is, you know.
And there's a lot of things that go into it that, you know, when you look online, it doesn't break everything down. You know what I mean?
A lot of times it's just a lie. Because it's one scenario, right?
Exactly.
So
that's why we do the education that we do, and we build trust with the clients. And, you know, that's my favorite part about it all, honestly. You know what I mean? It helps them make sense of everything that's going on.
Well, I love what your company does. In particular, more than your company, I love what you do. You know, I love that you've captured the heart of a couple of the agents that are within our brokerage, and you just, you know, you answer your phone. I remember I was like, Mackenzie, are you going to answer can I call you? You know, how important is that? I mean, it's just really, you know, if we're not all working together and pulling in the same direction, then it breaks down. You know, so it's very important that if you're in the business of, you know, working through your team, that you find people that you can really trust. And you're not going to trust everybody. So there's somebody for you out there. You need to figure out who that person is, because that's your resource. That's your resource. That person should be able to provide you with, what do you provide your agents before they, you know, they don't have a deal with you, you know, you're calling them to get to know them. What do you provide them?
Yeah. So I always like to set a, you know, 15, 30-minute chat up, and just that conversation for me is, you know, asking them what do they look for, right? And then, you know, how I can help with that, right? And then obviously we do, you know, a breakdown of the different, you know, processes that we have. You know, you don't grow a business without having a process, right? So we go through that the way, you know, the agents that I work with know what they can expect from me every single time.
So really just diligent about it, being communicative, making sure that they understand what you're willing to do, how the consumer receives, you know, gets their application input to you. And do you teach them hopefully you're teaching the agents that to push their clients to make sure that they have, 2 or 3 months bank statements.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
2 or 3 months W-2s.
Oh, yeah.
And if they need a tax return, get that too. And
Right.
what about the self-employed? Talk to us about what you got for self-employed people.
Yeah.
It's a big area.
Yeah, it is. So do you mean in terms of like loans or documentation?
Just the loan products that you offer for the self-employed who may not have, on their tax returns. A lot of times, as self-employed people, we will write off a lot of stuff. So speak to it.
So that's a really good question. So obviously there's, typical documentation that we use to
Full doc.
Everything. we have everything. We do have a lot of, non-QM loans as well. So different bank statement loans, things like that we can do if a bunch of things are written off, but there are ways that we can, work around that. And one thing that we have that's super nice is we have a scenario desk. So if this is someone that is extremely active, they want to buy, right? We have where we can send that whole profile over to a underwriter to take a look at it before it even gets anywhere. That way
that's a deal.
That way, you know what I mean? That way everything's ironed out, right? Because obviously I look at it and then an underwriter looks at it as well. So we really cross our T's and dot our I's to make sure that it looks good up front before they go into contract.
Yes, because I think a lot of times agents don't understand why the loan officer must have a very clean file. Because what happens if you close a transaction and you miss some stuff? What happens? Tell everybody, drop the T, girl. Just drop the T.
I mean, once it gets to underwriting, if we don't do the proper things up front, it's not
going to close.
It's not going to close.
But what if it does close because somebody didn't?
Then that's just not fun. It's a nightmare at the back end.
Yes. Because it may not get sold.
Exactly.
And then what happens?
Then people aren't happy with me.
Oh, yes. It's a problem.
It is.
So have you seen it where, just out of curiosity, have you seen it where somebody dropped the ball, the property, did, or the person, they audited the file, they found out,
Luckily, that has not happened to me. I mean, I know it happens sometimes, but I mean, we do me specifically and our company specifically does a really good job of making sure that does not happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story. It wasn't with your company, so that's good news.
That's good.
It was actually, I'm going to take you back. I had a family member who, and I'm responsible too, because I don't know why. I just didn't want to see her lose the house. So I had a family member who, she actually was a cousin of mine. And she worked for my mother. And she was buying her first house. And she was pre-approved and ready to go. Broadview Mortgage, I think, is who did the loan. Anyway, I don't even know if they're still around. But anyway, if they are, it's been 30 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay. Statute of limitations is all up. But she lost her job because her aunt, my mother, caught her stealing something or, whatever, taking money out and she was in accounting, so she had access. And she was supposed to be closing the following week. Oh, no. And you know what happens right before you close?
Oh, yeah, we check.
They check.
They check.
Don't think you're going to lie and submit, because they're going to find out. They're going to check. Yeah. This was in, I want to say 93-ish is when it was. Okay, so about 93. And they called, but we said that the human resources number changed. We gave them the new human resources number. And so the bank calls, it verifies employment, and I verified employment. I'm getting this girl. She closed that deal. But she probably shouldn't have, because a year and a half later, she was foreclosed. She never made the first mortgage payment. So they foreclosed her, and you know her. Anyway, we got some people in the background here, and I was just like, pointing it out. So, so they check, y'all. So it's very important to inform your your consumers, your clients, is what we call them, that they're going to check.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Verify. And it's the work number a lot of times. It is a manual check. They will pull to see if there's been any kind of notifications.
Yep.
Also, we don't want people, you want to tell your clients, don't buy another car.
Please don't buy.
Tell your clients.
Please don't.
Tell them not to buy.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, okay, I'm going to have you drop one. I want you to think about what it is that you would want people to know that would just improve the quality of their life in the real estate industry. Like, they are working in the real estate industry. We know all these things are happening these days.
Yep.
What is it that you would give them a gem? Give them a gem.
I think right now, with the way that the market is, right, you need to find the best team that you can, and you need to find a team that's going to be solution driven, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different scenarios out there. Different problems arise when rates are high, but you need to find a group that will help find a solution to those problems. And then also, all of this is not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a bunch of different things out there, whether you're different products or, different teams, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not a one size fits all.
That's right. Well, she just dropped that gem, y'all. So I just want to thank you for joining us today. Mackenzie, it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know I gave some funny stuff, but listen, I'm authentic. You never gonna call me a liar. I'm gonna tell you the truth. That's the bottom line. And I want you to plug in. This is for you as an agent. I want you to, pay attention to all the opportunities that are in the marketplace. If you don't have a coach, you should be talking to us so that we can see how we might be able to put something together to help you build your business, not be on this hamster wheel where you're up, you're down, you're all around. We want to give you the tools, the techniques, the information, and the planning so that you can make a difference in somebody else's life. And that's the only way you get paid. I am Theresa Barron, and Mackenzie, you want to give them your information to let them know how to get in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. My phone number is 330-705-2753, and my email is mfloyd@nfmlending.com.
Can they find you on social media?
Absolutely.
How?
Mackenzie Floyd.
There it is.
There it is.
And is it M-A?
M-A-C-K.
M-A-C-K. So y'all, that's how you spell her name, and find her on social media and get in touch with her. We will see you on the next one. This is The Real Tea Talk.